Haldron became paralyzed for a while, though, in the comic books and became evil.
Didn't know that.
So you think that he was the worst
Yep.
Green Lantern? I thought they
So-
were all bad.
No, Green Lanterns are going to shut up.
Don't you mock Kilowog.
Anyway, so, Kilowog. What's up, little sissy? We going to go and fight today. All right, that is it for Let's Talk About Blank. Thank you, Joe, so much for your question, since I forgot one.
What's Green Lantern's power?
The power ring, dude.
He can create power constructs out of energy in any shape he wants.
Using a ring.
Yes.
That's why I don't know any man who has a ring that has power.
I didn't see that coming, man. That's awesome.
You get that from a comedian.
Yeah, dude.
Mine doesn't have no power either. That's not true. It's bound me to one woman.
Gabriel Ingles.
CS.
Hilarious specials.
Iglesias.
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 All right, so moving on to our main topic, we're going to be discussing world building with Dawn of Worlds. Now, if you're a patron, you got to watch a video we just recently recorded of Ian and myself playing this game.
All three of you.
Yeah, all three of you. Hey, you know what? I'm happy to have 3 patrons. Okay, actually, I think we got like 9 now. I think, or 10. So that's good. That's
Actually,
progress.
the up on that Friday was kind of amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Lots of dwarves.
So, anyways, we recorded a video of us playing. We're basically going to introduce this to you because, in my opinion, this is by far one of the most effective and quickest ways to build an entire world with an entire history and lore tied to it.
And it's fun to show with your friends. I may not have been there, but I've done it before.
Yep.
And it's fun.
It
to
is
do.
fun. It's very fun. And we actually were taking a lot of input. We should probably tell them the name of our world. Where the hell is that?
Where did you put the sheet?
What is the name of our world? Batome?
Betome.
And,
Beethoven.
So, do you want to go show that in front of the camera? So you can see this world we made.
Maybe you should scroll up so you can see what he's showing.
Boom, there it is. Get up there. So if you don't know, Dawn of Worlds is in essence where you and a bunch of friends gather around a table with a sheet of paper and a few small pencils and papers and a couple sided dice.
6-sided.
What'd I say? A couple 6-sided. You're not even close, bro. Oh wait, you don't know because you
The
gotta wait for the
delay.
delay. Yeah. And it was created by Perry Anderson and a host of others, collectively known as the Brosties. There's a link in our show notes. There was a link in our show notes.
Side note, it helps to use a grid sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, actually, it will be in the show notes. It's currently in the YouTube feed, so you can find it right down there, right at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Way to hold that sheet of paper there.
Oh, thank you. So,
You may want to keep that close by, just like,
what, the map?
not the map, the notes.
My notes are right here.
Okay.
But anyways, you sit around and you basically create a world. And you start the game off with like a rough outline of a continent or region. You can randomly decide it. I actually am going to use this as a DM tip later, but I just like to roll dice on the table and then outline it.
Makes sense to me.
It makes an actual pretty good continent. There we go. Let's get back up there.
What? Just throwing crap makes stuff like random?
So Holt says, oh, never mind. That's from earlier. We're good. Somebody retracted his message. He must have said some. Oops. I thought that was somebody else. So once you get a rough outline, the game starts as each person taking on the role of a god. Either creating your own name of a god, or you're going to have to take some of these bullet points. So pay attention.
Ray, when somebody asks if you're a god, you say yes.
Are you a god? No?
So
Then die.
when we start, the world is barren and lifeless, and it's our job to mold it as we go through rounds and turns. We create stuff, we destroy stuff, we create our own stuff, we destroy other people's stuff, or vice versa. It's really part of it. But the game...
You tried to destroy my island. Joke was on you. I used it.
The game does actually limit the power of the deities, because the deities do run out of power, right?
Yep.
Do you know how do they do that?
Carefully.
carefully. They roll their dice every round. They get their power back, and depending on which age you're in, determines how much those points cost to do certain things.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. Including shaping the world and creating races and stuff like that. And if you wanted to do a bunch of things all at once, you can actually roll the dice and then build up and save and not spend them and save your resources to execute a bunch of stuff all in one turn.
Which doesn't work too well if you keep rolling 2s and 3s like I did.
Oh, man, he rolled so bad. Like, seriously, I rolled on 2d6. I had 3 rolls in a row that were 11. And he's getting like 2s and 3s. So really, it's my world. And he just messed some shit up along the way.
Dang right.
But
Dwarf power.
there are a few notes when you're playing the game that you really want to focus on. The first one is you're here to create a fun and interesting world. The game is not about winning or losing. And you got to make sure you're not afraid to change other people's creations, because that's where the fun starts to come from. Oh no,
Yeah,
it's
you
1 a.m. there.
You can fuck shit up in this game.
All right, Holt, thank you for joining us, man.
Oh yeah.
Anybody got a good Scottish accent? Can say goodnight.
You have yourself a good night, laddie.
That was as bad as me, but nice try. Good night, buddy. Thanks for joining us. You can always watch the video later,
Indeed.
which listening actually is probably better just because all the scoofs are out. But a lot of the funny stuff's not in it too. Anyway, so
Editing.
yeah, I love editing. So much work. Okay. So the start of the game starts with what? Just like D&D.
Dice
Initiative.
rolls.
Starting with initiative, right? So you can each roll dice and determine who goes first and
What's on second?
huh?
What's on second?
And who's on third?
What's on third?
I thought who's on second.
Oh my god, stop.
No, who's on first?
No, I thought what was on first.
This show's gonna give me an aneurysm.
Anyways, so each person takes a turn in rounds, right? Each person gets a turn in a round, and each person at the beginning of the turns rolls a d6 and gains power. These rounds are known as ages, he said with air quotes,
Ages.
Of empires?
of empires.
The
Um,
age of land.
Each age focuses on a very particular aspect of world creation as well, right? There's really no set limit to the number of rounds. You can really go as long as you want. We ran a 2-hour game, and we got a pretty good world out of it.
Although we barely even touched on the third age, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, we barely... Yeah, when we run out of time, that's life.
Yeah.
Deal with it. So...
Maybe we were too obsessed with throwing our races at each other.
That's true. Well, your little sea damn dwarves attacked my ice tieflings, okay?
And they won.
Oh, whatever.
Ice tieflings, sea dwarfs. Are you guys high?
No, but it was beautiful. You missed it. My humans were the ultimate spellcasters. Every dream of every human in Forgotten Realms right there.
Until they got invaded by flying ships from fire doors.
So because there's no set of rounds, there is a recommended minimum length in the game notes, but it's entirely up to you. At the end of every round, you can choose to vote in majority rules, and you move on to the next round. Brandon, why don't you tell us a little bit about what happens in the first age?
In the first age, you have the age of land, which is the geography. The cost to shape the land is at its cheapest, because for every age you go into beyond this, it gets more expensive.
Right, because time actually shrinks comparatively. Each realm also has different lengths. I think first age is 500 years.
Yep.
So it's cheaper to shape the land because you have a longer time period, right?
Now, what else you got? You got it's cheapest. You can create mountains, islands, forests, lakes, and depending on what you're building, it has a point cost. And there's a guide to this.
Yep. There's a table in the
And-
page in the note in the
There's
game
a
page.
church.
And in contrast, races are extremely difficult to create at this stage.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Because these guys are like,
that's funny.
Go, my monkey men.
So
it
y-
is
So the first age is all about forming the terrain, and you really want to get interesting when you're doing this. I had this map drawn out, and Ian decided he's gonna like literally take his hand, and he literally made a mountain range that looked like his hand. Like his god went boom and then created a mountain range. That was really cool.
why?
Why not?
Why not?
It's better than just a random mountain range. Of course, then he like karate chopped half my continent and then split in half. But whatever. Split in a
Is
section.
that what that gorge was that I saw?
Yeah, it wasn't a gorge. It was filled with water. But yeah,
It was awesome.
you want to take? Ian.
And next we have the second age, the age of races, where the cost for race creations is lowest, but the land cost goes way up, and there's rather little limitations of races for the rules, but you may want to establish some guidelines among your players, such as like your stereotypical fantasy races, like the dwarves, the humans, the elves,
typical D&D stuff, right? I mean, when you're creating this game, we do it in the form of like D&D fantasy, but you're not restricted to that. If you're using this, you can use this to write a book. You can do this to create another game, and you need a world with story for your game, or if you're creating a homebrew world.
Now that doesn't mean you can't create other stuff.
Right, and that's actually where it gets really interesting.
Sit here talking about sea dwarves and ice tieflings.
Don't forget the ice dwarves.
Don't get mad. Don't be mad because you can get get to join the battle between the ice tieflings and the
Sea
dwarves.
And the Warforged.
And the warforged sea dwarfs or the warforged dwarfs.
Yes.
Okay.
Because don't forget the Warforged were kind of like the
my rock sky humans.
The subjugation class to the dwarves because the dwarves built them.
And during the second age, you can choose as a group to either decide that maybe monsters are already just a standard. Like in D&D terms, we just assume automatically that the monsters are there unless we specifically want to advance them beyond that, and then you could use it to create a race and say, I create goblins and now they're the masters of magic, or they're the forgers, or the master forgers, or master blacksmiths, and not the dwarves, you know?
The master race are the kobolds.
Brandon should have changed the world. Well, when the Fire Nation attacks, he can do that.
You mean the fire dwarves?
No, Fire Nation. Everything was alright until the Fire Nation attacked, no?
And during the second age, each round is 100 years.
Swish.
So in this one, yeah, it's a shorter time period, right? So shaping the land has definitely gone up a little bit in cost.
It's harder.
Right. And then, of course, the third age, we have the Age of Civilization. This is where shaping the land, for instance, is at its highest cost, and the races become a little more difficult to create because this only is representative of a few years at a time, so it's more difficult to grow them. This is when great leaders are formed, people like King Arthur or Genghis Khan or the Pope.
I put Kangaskhan, the Pokemon, on the sheet.
I did. My bad. It should be a G there, huh? There, I fixed it. Genghis Khan. It's probably still not wrong, right?
It's still funny.
Whatever. Or Genghis Khan.
There should be a space in there.
I don't give a fuck, okay? Where's the space? Right there? Genga? That's not right.
Kangaskhan? Isn't that the name of a Pokemon?
Who messed up? That's what he just said.
Yeah, dude,
so anyways, in Genghis Khan, the
Hey,
Pope or a
Vegeta,
high...
it's a Pokemon.
Joutsu!
Joutsu. It's a Joutsu.
Look, it used self-destruct. So anyways, this is when cults and orders and knights are really formed, and this is when war, battle really takes place, is in this age.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a shorter time frame. It's also important, this is where discoveries in magic and science and technology are often discovered and pushed forward. So the game, so that's pretty much the three phases of the game. It's pretty simple.
And the best part about the third age is that if you do nothing through the first and second age and you have all those points saved up,
you can fucking wreck shit.
You can just throw a cataclysm onto this planet where all these races are just sitting there. Like, I think the last game we played, we did an eternal storm between two continents, so they couldn't do any trades anymore.
Yep. Destroyed them.
I remember during our brief third round, I made the Elder Dragon appear and basically smite half the continent.
Yeah, if you haven't played World of Warcraft, Cataclysm, he basically started Cataclysm at the end of our game. Fucking big dragon about ready to just destroy everything.
I wrecked my own cities.
I think his forging in my game frickin' destroyed an entire race. No more elves. Or very few elves now. Like the whole little forest where the elves were, underwater. That was unfortunate for my elves. Poor guys. Anyways. So now we're actually going to do a quick once-over of example of gameplay. You guys have to share this sheet because I didn't copy everything.
Who the hell?
I don't know who the hell is.
I don't.
We're each going to read one of these little sections here, right?
Puzzled.
I'll take the first ones here. Brandon can take that one. We'll give you the small one.
Alrighty then.
Sound like a plan?
All right.
Oh, I need that because
Rick Sharp is at an airport bar.
So we're gonna kind of go through an example of gameplay. If you have, for those who didn't actually get to see our live stream. So the players have gathered: Alexi, Trevor, and Bob, and are seated around the table. Bob has prepared a mostly blank world map that looks like this. You can't see it. Since Bob is going to use the world to write an great American novel, he goes first. It's his game, kind of like who Poop Blasts and Cards Against Humanity, I guess. Each player rolls 2 6-sided dice. Bob gets a 10, Alexa gets a 5, and Trevor gets a 9. Bob goes first. He spends 9 of his points to make a mountain range that separates a portion of the land from the rest of the continent. Alexi spends 3 points, adding some trees along the southern coast, and Trevor passes on a turn, holding on to his point.
Are they happy little trees?
Yes, they are. They're happy little accidents. Just like me. Bob marks the changes on the map.
Alrighty then.
Oh, he was going to have him go second.
Okay.
Okay, I missed which part you wrote.
Right there.
Right there.
Just pay goddamn attention.
A few turns pass. Bob and Lexi continue to add mountains and forests, while Trevor accumulates his points. Finally, after 3 turns, Trevor announces that he is going to create a race and burns 22 points to create a race of elves, which will live in the forests Alexi has been creating for the past 3 turns. My phone's going off. He spends another 8 points and directs these elves, who he decides will call themselves the High Elves, to build a city named Umberl. Now the map looks like this.
They plan to discover marijuana.
And then he'll take the last part there.
The one sentence.
People are talking about Christmas.
Alexei, however, is distraught by Elizabeth because he intended to introduce his own race into the forest during the Second Age, when he begins to save points for a catastrophe. And the game continues.
Yeah, so that's an example of gameplay. It's very simple and straightforward, isn't it?
Yep.
You just follow the tables for your turns. So, but what the driving force behind the game is power. So the driving force behind the game is power. So we've already talked that each turn, each person rolls dice to get the amount of power that they have. There is a cumulative bonus that kind of goes with that to kind of encourage people to spend points, which is really nice.
Good stuff.
Goldfish.
Sorry, I was just reading my notes trying to figure out which ones are relevant since we've already talked about some of them. It's important to note that your actions on your turn are really only limited by the power that you have. If you want to save up 50 points, like Brandon just kind of talked about, and you want to burn them all to raise armies, do it. You're gods after all.
Cue
right?
He-Man.
He-Man, I have the power! No? Okay.
Yep.
I got the power table.
So the game really gets interesting. Is they have a big table that represents the powers that you have. So we're gonna go through. We'll go through and we'll alternate taking each power. So obviously, one we've talked to death is shape the land. That's the very basic power that you start with. It allows you to build hills, lakes, streams, rivers, tundras, deserts. You name it in a 1-inch square on the map.
Or 2.54 centimeters for all you non-American folk.
Way to be all inclusive.
Just saying.
I'm gonna word you inspiration for that.
Cool. What can I use it for?
Not a damn thing. Keep
Didn't think
reading.
so.
Makes you feel good, right, Joan?
And you can also shape the cabinet where you can affect the weather patterns, also in a 1-inch area, or 2.54 centimeter area, for the heat, cold, the fog, the rain, the snow, the hurricanes.
Hurricanes, yeah. I'd like to point out, I meant to talk about this in the realm, and I forgot. Joam's character is a mage that pants somebody with mage hand from across the room, pulled his pants down. He used mage hand while he was atop a dragon to pants a gentleman.
Why?
Why not? Never thought you never thought of that. I thought it was awesome, and I just wanted to give him props for that. The next big power that's a big deal is you have create race. Basically, allows you to create the races that the player characters are going to run. Often in the book, yeah, he was pretty rude. He was a dickhead. Races will often in Civilization will often be interchangeable in the book, but don't think just humans, elves, and dwarves. You know, things like dragons and orcs and trolls and stuff like that also are races that you can create. And then when they create a race, they can start it with an alignment plus or minus 1, and you can actually affect alignments because later on you can actually corrupt entire cities, and you can get a Sodom and Gomorrah type shit going on.
Sodomy.
Or you can drop floating islands on the other. Yeah.
We actually skipped Brandon. He can get one. Take command race.
Command race.
Kneel before Zod.
Today.
Priests of the gods influence a races to what? Priests of the gods influence a races to action.
Ignore the A.
Did I make a typo?
Yes, you did.
Oh. Priests of the gods influence races to action.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. You fuck me up all the time.
Shut up. I fixed it.
Normally cities are founded by this power,
Can you
but
start
it
over,
can be
please?
used, but oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, when you fuck up, you gotta start over.
No, I did start over. You talked during. You were the one that fucked me up.
Didn't say I didn't.
This is true.
Command race. Priests of the gods influence the races. Fucking shit!
And this is why
I
we
fixed
edit
it. I didn't say nothing.
This is why we edit the show.
What set him off?
No, I said the A again.
There's no A. I took
Shush.
it out.
On your computer.
Oh, let's try. I'm an idiot. Go ahead.
Command race. Priests of the gods influence races to action. Normally, cities are founded by this power, but it can be used for just about anything. Immortals must first be established with a sect.
Yeah, you gotta have a sect in the city before you can command a race to do something. When you create a race, it actually allows you to create a sect if you choose.
Or an avatar.
Or an avatar. Command City is one of the next powers, and this basically, the god directs them to create something, whether it's a walls, schools, libraries, a wonder, or an army. That's going to be the important one when it comes to making your civilization stand out, or just being like Genghis Khan and building armies to fucking take over the world.
Besides the roads, the schools, the aqueducts, name one thing the Romans have done for us.
What is this?
hit on
A center for ants?
Do you want to hit on advanced cities?
How are they going to learn to read good if they can't fit in the building?
Alright then. And then we have advanced your civilization. And advancing, just so we're clear, means you gain knowledge in the sciences of the magic, such as healing magic, weaponsmithing, sailboats, rating, engineering, or agriculture. I remember in my game, for example, my dwarves learned how to create living metal.
Yes, damn constructs. He made Warforged.
And flying boats.
And flying boats. Yeah, and that actually once again that becomes really important when you're trying to create lore for an entire civilization. You know, his flying dwarves and his sea dwarves all come from him advancing his civilization. Hey, I want to create a subrace. What do I want him to do? I want him to have flying boats. Well, what do I got to do to get flying boats? I got to specialize in metallurgy and as well as tinkering or magic or whatever choice we made. Yeah, so those little things are going to be very important, and because you're pushing the advancing of the civilization and city, it's creating more lore and more history that's tied to a unique race, which we have a lot of in D&D, right? We know the dwarves are forgers, we know that the elf are fey magic users, and we know humans are fucking somewhere in between.
Yeah, the flying boats came from the fact that the humans in that flying island may have caused some crap.
Oh, yeah. So his if you don't understand, his dwarves were in a volcano right below my floating city, and they just throw their shit overboard. So it was just falling onto their heads. That's why they had to fly, so they could go kick their asses. Like, imagine being the guy on, like, the ground level when somebody's tossing junk out the window of a third floor.
Return of your crap, humans! And in some cases, it was literal crap!
You want to pick up Purify and Corrupt real quick?
Our Volcano Island is not your chamber, Pat!
Now we move on to a Purifying Corruption. This is where it can get really fun sometimes.
Yeah, it can.
Gods change general alignment of a civilization, city, or a 1-inch region of landscape by 1 step per turn.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that I corrupted your dwarves. Is that why they attacked my tieflings? Because they were just kind of bad?
More like the siege was landed on the island that the tieflings are on, and, well, nature took its course.
Yeah, they just pulled the whole John Smith and Pocahontas thing, right? Except no Pocahontas came from it.
Yeah, you could totally screw over another god when they're creating their race. It's like, this is going to be a happy race. They're going to be very, very kind and nice stuff. And the next word is like, nuh-uh, they're going to be evil as shit.
Yeah, now they're stabbing each other.
What are you doing to my people? They hate you now.
Oh, man, you could corrupt them so they don't worship their god no more. Oh, that's horrible.
There's a power for that.
You want to pick up event there?
Alright, the events. The events can be used to change the fortune of cities, civilizations, or orders. Stuff like gold mines or rare mineral deposits can be definitely useful, or massive storms may shrink a fleet at sea, may bring droughts, or technology is lost, or in our case, a giant dragon may come out and wreck stuff.
Now, this is a subtle difference between catastrophe and event. Because event can be just as good as it can be bad, while a catastrophe is really, really bad. It's just terrible.
Just fuck your world.
The dragon may have been more of a catastrophe than an event.
The next power you have access to is create order. So this is where you create an order, a sect within, this is, like a thieves guild or pirates or an order of knights or some other sort of religious sect that kind of exists within a group. Pretty common one. Another one you get is create avatar. Now, there's certain limitations in the game that only allows, despite us mentioning earlier that there's really no limit besides points that determines what you can do. That's not exactly true. There's a few exceptions. For instance, armies. You can only make 1 army per turn. So when you create an avatar, you basically create a major figure within history. This is like the big high priest that everyone knows, or maybe like the Bahamut dragon, or something that is huge and that is important in the story in some way, shape, or form.
Or a demigod.
And what happens is you can use an avatar to exceed those limits. So with one avatar, you can create... Between yourself and the avatar, you can create 2 armies in 1 city, for instance.
What was the guy you made again?
I made a giant. A gentle giant.
You're just going to do too much, really.
No, I just wanted a giant.
Fair enough.
Maybe if he becomes friends with your evil dwarves, he'll be the Iron Giant. He was very friendly. I missed that. That show made me cry.
Whereas my fire dwarves had Benville, Keeper of the Living Flame.
Yeah, okay. You and your fancy-ass names.
Dang right.
Brandon, you want to take Command Avatar? Oh, wait, never mind. We already kind of talked about... The next one is Command Avatar, which actually allows you to perform that extra action. So then last but not least is by far the most fun power. Catastrophe, Wrath of the Gods. Great loss of advancements into the destruction of powerful avatars or cities. The power brings ruin to them all by whatever clever mechanisms the player can imagine.
I guess meteor and wipe out your dinosaur race.
Yeah, I wish that's all it would have did. A meteor split my planet in 2. So, that's a thing. Yeah, that sucks.
And catastrophes don't necessarily have to be meteors from space or earthquakes and stuff like that. You can make it so that all metal on the planet just disappears for some unknown reason.
How about air?
Or air. That would just suck.
Yeah, a big boom made all the air disappear. But once again, it is a world-building story, so you want to try to... It actually does suggest avoiding, and wiping out entire, civilizations. But catastrophe is the funnest. Volcano obviously is a very simple one, but a flood that takes over, that's what happened to my elves. A catastrophe struck and it wiped out most of my elves. So
to be fair, you put that catastrophe in there.
Who cares who did it? Who didn't? My children, my cults are gonna blame you for that because it was your volcano bullshit that caused it.
Dang right.
Anyways, so.
This is supposed to be a festive occasion. We're not here to argue about who killed who.
Right. So, once you've created your cities and you've created your civilizations, there's only one thing next that's really left that's going to happen.
Whoa! Oh!
Good God, y'all, what it isn't good for? Absolutely nothing. Check it again. Sorry.
Nishishi?
So conflict. Conflict will arise in history. That's what makes history interesting, is people go to war over stupid shit. You look different, I'm going to stab you. Being the most common one. Cities will raise armies. They'll march against those blasphemous heathen neighbors. Avatars will lure citizens into darkness, and the politics of the worlds will be played out on a grand stage that you've created.
Warforged, take care of this ice defense for us.
Battle is handled actually pretty simple in the game. Basically, when you attack a city or a civilization, you basically roll 2d6 and add any modifiers. Now, those modifiers is where it gets interesting, because you can argue for a modifier. For instance, when Mr. Gentleman here, his sea dwarves attacked my ice tieflings, he got at least a +1 because...
Oh, I got +3.
He got a +1 because he had an army and I didn't. He got a +2 because you had mechanized armored spirit souls attached to dwarven armor beasts attacking. And then what was the +3?
Warforged went, because we actually have technology.
Oh, and technology. Okay, whatever. But anyways, so it's pretty simple. So we both roll 2d6 and he gets his modifiers. I didn't get any because I didn't have an army or anything. Though I think I could have argued the cold. Because your guys came from fire.
Actually, those are the sea dwarves, so second.
Well, it's still ice. Come on. Whatever. It is important to keep in mind that I already mentioned that it is very difficult to completely wipe out anything, armies, cities, and races. And it kind of ruins the fun, so you should try to avoid that. But if you do decide that you want to pursue that and they just be lost to history, you do have to pay the creation of a race to uncreate them after you've attacked and destroyed their capital city.
Yep.
If they got more than one capital city, have fun.
They built this city on rock and roll.
You found a link for one-liners?
Yes.
It's not from me. It was from one of my listeners. And he used it in his game yesterday, and it was awesome.
Friday.
Friday. No, yesterday.
Today's Sunday.
I know. I ran a game for our patrons yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Which is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Anyways, so, and then last but not least, the world, no world history would be of value without some diligent historian to get it all in writing.
Get to work, scribe.
So the PDF comes with like a record sheet at the end of it. You can just copy and print a bunch off, and you have somebody track it and document it all.
And you can always fluff it up later.
Yep, pretty much. So that is Dawn of Worlds.
Dawn of Worlds.
I will make sure that there is a... Actually, I'm going to do that right now so I don't forget. Make sure there's a link in the show notes for everyone.
That might be of use.
Copy link address. I'm going to put it at the bottom, though. Boom, there it is. All right, so that is Dawn of the Worlds. It's a lot of fun. Get some beers. Get some friends over. Don't drink too much by yourself. That's weird. But get your friends over. Have some booze. Have a drink. And play this game, because by the end of it, you will have an amazing world. And if you do this as a session 0 for a homebrew world you want to build with your group, how awesome would it be as a player to start off in the city that you created, as the race that you created? And the biggest challenge of is explaining all the lore and everything of what happened in the world to your players. But if they took part in it and they helped create it and they already understand all that, that's a lot of information that you don't have to try to get through and hope they remember. They will remember it because they were involved in the creation, and that puts a sense of come on, help me out, fellas.
Ownership.
Ownership, yes, thank you, of the game. And they will want to explore it. They will want to learn more. And if you continue that trend as the adventure goes on, or the campaign goes on, and you constantly, maybe you go back to it. Maybe you start off with just a kingdom. And then as your guys are ready to escape the kingdom, you expand it to a continent, and you go back for another session, and you finish the continent. And then you go back, there's so many different ways you can do it. And it's just amazing to have all that lore and fully understand it when the game starts. So I highly recommend this. If you have not tried it, at least try it once. The PDF is free. You can find the link at the end of the show notes.
The best price.
The best things in life are free. Da-da-da-da. Just like Crit Academy. Da-da-da.
Unless you're a Patreon.
Unless you're a Patreon. Yes, because then that's not free. Which is why we still do the show. If we didn't have no patrons, I probably would have stopped already.
Yeah.
All right, so that is our main topic for today, Dawn of Worlds. Check it out, love it. Please, if you play it, let us know what you think. Please send us your world maps. Send us your lore logs.
Yeah, it really is fun.
So
I remember turning a peninsula into a dragon's head.
Yeah.
And there was fire for the island.
Yep.
And another player came along and dug out the land across its eyes. It looked like it had a scar.
Yep.
It's like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I buy that for $1.
I buy what you're selling. All right. So before we move on to our unearthed tips and tricks segment, we have one more. We have another gift to give away. Compliment. Why is it doing that? You piece of shit.
I don't know.
It's a piece of shit.
It shrink that. Oh, there it is. Okay. So before we move on to our unearthed tips and tricks, we have one more thing to give. We have another awesome prize to give away.
Each episode we will draw another lucky subscriber's name, and they will win the best-selling adventure, The Claws of Madness, compliments of Loresmith. Loresmith is a small indie team of creative artists who remember exploring the realms together with friends, finding incredible places, and meeting colorful characters along the way. They set out to deliver an experience that sparks those lasting impressions that pushed them to create their first standalone adventure, The Claws of Madness. This best-selling adventure is one that you don't want to miss.
Who's our winner?
Our winner is...
Robert Davis.
Yeah, that thing.
Who's our winner?
Robert Davis.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, you gotta take a stand and don't have to hide.
Yeah,
I was jerking around, so I wasn't paying attention.
I was gonna say things.
Yeah, well, I gotta figure.
You're the most
something out.
enthusiastic person when it comes to that song.
Well, we all need to be because it's the goofy
it's
shit
53 episodes later, and you're still...
bouncing around. Have you watched shit? Twitch people? They do crazy ass shit for their donors.
Yeah, I watched one last night where a guy was drinking different things based on what stuff he was getting out of Rocket League loot crates.
Oh Jesus! Congratulations to Robert Davis.
It was bad too. And standard items, it's like, okay, I'll just drink a little bit of beer. And purple items were a shot of vodka, and then Fireball, which he didn't want to do, and that mystery decal.
Mm-hmm.
If he got that, he would take a shot of bleach.
Oh,
Oh
that
Jesus!
can't be healthy.
You know,
Well, it's funny you talk about all that drinking.
Makes me think of that episode of The Rock from the Sun, where he's like, I'm gonna see if these liquids are toxic or non-toxic by drinking them. Tabasco sauce? Ooh, toxic.
Neat Mike, that's his name.
Speaking of drinking, hang on. My pappy always says, never turn down an ale. You never know when it's going to be your last. No?
No.
Never mind. So, our character concept of the today, our character concept comes from patron donor Joe Lorendo. It's Lorendo, I think.
Yeah, it's Londo.
Character concept comes from patron Joe Lorendo. My pappy always said. So I ran an adventure for our patron members yesterday. Yeah, you know what, Joan? Yes, Joe does it better. Whatever. I wasn't trying to be better than him.
My papa always said, dwarven women are like axes, as dangerous from the front as they are from the back. And not even the raised like an axe to the kneecaps. And Never tune down
1
the
second.
knee. Yeah.
That was good. I'm gonna cut it differently though. So his character was was it Irish or Scott? It was Irish. He did Irish, I think. Did he do Scottish? Might have been.
He's a Scot, so I'd assume Scott.
Yeah, and he.
Scottish?
Well, he's actually from Oregon, and that's not his normal voice, which threw me off because when he started, he was already talking like that. And the first thing, oh, where are you from?
Scotland.
But anyway, so his character was like a dwarven cobbler, I believe, and he had this thing. The whole spiel was, well, my pappy always said, nothing evens a race like an axe to the kneecaps, and he had just a joke. He had a line for every single scenario that came up, and it just blew my mind. You know, when they ran into Hraesvelgr, the dragon, he says, well, Pappy always says, when dragons speak a little, but when they do, listen. Like, just, to me, at first, he was doing it so smoothly, I didn't even realize he was reading something. I thought he was, I had to ask, are you making that up? He's like, no, I got a list. Because it was so smooth. And if you're interested, I do have a link in our show notes to these one-liners. They're all dwarven based, but it doesn't have to be. Do you guys want to give those a couple of those another try?
My pappy always said, a pebble will stay dry inside, no matter how long it'll stay submerged in a pool of water.
that's a good one.
Persevere.
The humans have a saying, the nail that sticks out gets hammered. We have a saying too, shoddy work. Not a single nail should be sticking out.
So I want to thank you, Joe, for not only this submission, but for playing this character in my game, because my gut was hurting so bad because I was laughing so hard. And there's like 40 of these things on this list. We only repeated a few of them, but...
Yeah, I know I had some players laughing when I TPK'd them, but they were TPK'd by half ogres that I printed in a very heavy hillbilly accent. And I definitely handed up though when they were like killing all the other half ogres. Mm-hmm. What the? You just killed my brother, Daddy.
My brother daddy.
That's funny.
Wait. Is he your brother's dad or is he your dad and your brother? You know what? I don't even want to think about that.
You can't talk that way to my grandma's sister.
So while I am not nowhere near as proficient at it as Joe was, thank you so much for the submission. I had a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing other people get a lot of fun out of this. And that is it for our character concept. My pappy always said.
My pappy always said, they may call it roadkill. I call it dinner.
That was a little less insightful.
They say life is like a box of chocolates. I hope you choke on every fucking one of them.
Holy shit. So our monster variant of the podcast is the Burst Knight. Our monster variant of the podcast is the Burst Knight. The origin is just the regular knight, and you have to replace the heavy crossbow with 2 weapon-bound hand axes. So, first we're going to start off by some of the abilities that we give him. We give it the Burst Knight the cantrip Sword Burst.
Hence why it's called the Burst Knight.
This creature thrusts his blade into the ground in a momentary circular of spectral blades that burst up from the ground. Each creature within a 5-foot range, other than the... Oh, it says Mage Knight there. I should fix that.
Maybe.
Each creature within a 5-foot range, other than the Burst Knight, must succeed a dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 force damage. And twice a day, the Burst Knight can cast the Shield spell. Now, I got an interesting message from one of our patron donors earlier today. Rick, I think it was Rick. Was it Rick?
Roll.
Pickle Rick.
Pickle. It's his name.
Pickle Rick.
From Rick Sharp.
Jaguar.
Okay, so we got a message earlier from Rick Sharp actually about this, and he really liked the idea. He said that he kind of envisioned the shield spell being like a spectral blade that comes up and blocks the attack or something like that to fit with the theme, which I thought was really cool. The important additional important things features you'd have to give it is War Magic. When this creature uses its action to cast a cantrip, it can make one weapon attack as a bonus action.
Bonus.
If you don't know, that is the 7th level feature of the Eldritch Knight.
Good stuff.
So you want to the thought is that he would be able to cast Sword Burst in AoE, taking on a group of heroes, and then still follow it up with a single target attack, which is really nice. And then he has Weapon Bond. This creature can't be disarmed of his axes unless incapacitated. If its weapons are on the same plane of existence, the creature can summon the weapon as a bonus action on its turn, causing it to teleport to its hand instantly. The Burst Knight can only summon one at a time. What do you guys think about that?
Good
Sounds
stuff.
dangerous.
Oh yeah? What do you envision a combat with something like this would be like?
Obnoxious.
How so?
Why, you're right up to the guy of the group only for him to smack you with an area attack of blades.
Right.
Pointy things.
And what I thought was really cool is he can be doing the burst cantrip to the creatures around him, right? And then throwing a hand axe at somebody in the distance.
Yeah, because it allows him to get
It'll-
the war magic.
Yeah, and he can bring it back to him with his action, the bonus action too, which is really cool. So this was meant to be a creature who can take on a group of melee fighters and still be able to deal with the people in the back. You can give it more cantrips if you wanted, but that's all I thought was necessary, because often they find themselves surrounded by enemies. So being able to stab your sword into the ground and a thrust of blades come up and then follow it up with attack is just awesome. And the fact that he's got shield will scare the shit out of him.
Can that be used vice versa? Can he attack first, then use his cantrip?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I don't think that you wouldn't be able to. I'm pretty sure that it doesn't matter which order. Yeah, because there's no order. There's no predetermined order for using bonus action versus action, as long as the right condition is met. So that is our. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on about that? Any other thoughts you might have or ideas of how to get the most out of it?
Surrender at night! We have you completely surrendered! That means I have myself a target-rich environment.
That is
Guys, he doesn't seem afraid. Should we be afraid?
that is our monster variant, the Burst Knight.
What was that from?
What?
I've heard that before.
I just farted. It is bad. Are you gonna add to it? Oh, that got picked up on the mic. Oh, you fucking nasty.
Oh my gosh, I smell it.
Our encounter of the podcast is.
Sitting here, oh, don't burp in the mic. Oh, well, you can fart though. That's fine.
Well, I didn't know the mic was gonna pick up your stank ass. Okay.
It doesn't pick up the smell, at least.
Better leave that shit in there. Part of the fun.
better wipe that shit before you go home. We'll go to work.
Oh god.
So our encounter of the podcast. Our encounter of the podcast is laboratory accidents. So, our heroes have. What do you want to take this? Brandon, you, Aaron, Link, somebody, Ian.
Our heroes have chased, followed, or been lured into a battle with the big bad or one of his cronies, Igor, in the laboratory. In this battle, not only is the enemy a threat, but the mix of chemicals and vials of unknown mixtures to them is also in play.
That was really good. The stain coming through. Sorry, Joan. My bad.
I'm not there. I'm just watching the video, but I smell it.
Oh, there's
gosh.
an emojis button.
Why do I smell it?
I just found an emojis button.
God.
This is news to you?
Hey, shut up.
Lord.
Where was I going with that? So, I actually got this idea from Loresmith's Claws of Madness. He has an event that takes place in a scenario very much like this, and he created this really awesome table. Now, we're not going to read all of them, but I'd like to go ahead and talk about some of these. So, when you're in a laboratory, and we always talk about dynamic encounters in finding ways to let the environment influence the combat. And this is a really good way to do that. So, he has a 1d6 table that has a few good ideas that we're going to share with you. So the first, this one says, a cloud of rotting stench bursts from an unknown substance, lingering for 1 round. Everyone within 5 feet must succeed a DC 10 Constitution saving throw or fall prone. That's awesome. That is gonna change combat drastically if people start dropping from a rotten stench, right?
Oh, yeah. Ooh, I like this one. One of the glass containers topples and breaks, releasing the water and an octopus into the room.
New enemy. Right there. So you could set this where you randomly roll something, or maybe you can say if somebody rolls like a 1, I know crit fumbles isn't a thing in 5e, or isn't in any rules as far as I'm concerned, but you could set that when somebody rolls a 1, that's when this is going to happen. Or if somebody decides to throw somebody into them or push them back or knock them, you can set certain triggers to trigger these, or you can just say every round I'm going to roll this. And you can add dynamic events to the laboratory to this situation, including the mixtures. Now, I'd also say consider using the mixing potions mishap chart or the scroll mishap chart as well. There's really good ideas in the DMG on page 140 that has very similar concepts like this when you're in an area and you can set off random effects. Also, the Wild Sorcerer's Wild Surge table has a lot of good stuff you can pull from as well.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I wouldn't say use the whole table. Cherry pick a few things, but you can still have those effects change and alter your combat as you're playing and engaging in it.
That's a D100 table.
And we'll go ahead and give one. So I think this is a really good idea, and I think if you're gonna, and we all run adventures where there's some sort of laboratory or chemical room or spell room or something where shit like this would be. So there's no reason you couldn't add one of these things when people engage in combat in them. Right?
Yep, room full of chemicals. You never quite know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh, to save on postage, I'll just poison him with this.
That is our. Do you guys have anything to add? Anything else? Brandon?
You could do your own custom things.
Yeah? Add your own stuff?
Like in the first one. Each creature within 5 feet must succeed a DC 10 dexterity saving throw or they take 1d8 fire damage. Rather, instead of doing damage, they get smacked by the special potion that makes them butt fuck ugly for like an entire day. And the charisma drops by 2.
Or it turns him into a llama.
Yeah.
Turns them into a llama.
And I would encourage creating your own. These were just some examples that I got from Warsmith, and he did a really good job on this encounter. So that is our encounter of the podcast, the Laboratory Accidents. Brandon, you want to take our magic item?
Oh, okie dokie. Today's magic item is submitted by Flamebrand02.
You said you were going to do all magic items in Deckard Cain's voice, You
want
Come
me to do all the magic items in Deckard Cain's
No,
voice?
I don't. You said you were going to.
Okay, fine. I'll do it just like that. You got to remind me every time I do it, though.
I will.
Today's magic item is submitted by Flamebrand02. Boots of Dry Land. Made for a pirate game I ran a couple of years ago. Is this in the third person?
It was submitted by somebody.
Made for a pirate game I ran a couple of years ago. The wearer of the boots gains water walking with a twist. M. Night Shyamalan style.
M. Night Shitupon.
On any body of salt water, the boots generates a 30-foot radius of dry, walkable sands beneath the wearer, which means several party members could benefit from the effect. They functioned for an hour per day. The party loved them and used them on several occasions to great effect.
Right, I think,
Hey, I got the English jump overboard and sneak up to their ship on foot.
And it's funny. I actually got a message from one of our patrons, Rick Sharp, that he thought this actually might be overpowered, and maybe we should consider shortening the radius, or maybe the time, or how frequent you
I
can
don't
do
think
it.
it's overpowered at all. Because if you're in the middle of the ocean and you fall into the water, you've got several days of walking to do. You'll probably die of exhaustion before you get to land.
And it only lasts for an hour, so...
You're welcome, Joan. Yes, I think this is a really fun one. I can imagine somebody with this ring like jumping overboard and just beaching somebody's boat in the middle of the ocean. Like just nope. That would stop. I mean, if you got pirates that are attacking that happened, they couldn't move, they couldn't do nothing. You just leave them there.
Or just have the pirates attack you.
Or the pirates attacked you, yeah. But you're great. You're right. It's great for allowing boarding. It's a really fun item. I don't know if it's balanced or not. It was just something that I thought was really interesting. I personally wouldn't have a problem with this. I mean, it's once per day for up to an hour. I mean, that's not terrible.
This radius 30 feet.
Yeah.
That would be so bad. You beach a boat just like you said. When you have a bunch of barbarians, you start whacking holes in the bottom of the hull
and then unbeach
walk
it?
away.
And then dismiss it, and then fucking sinks.
You suck my battleship.
Oh my god, that would be such an awesome encounter. This is a good way to introduce that magic item. Maybe the players are on a boat and some barbarians jump off and fucking try to sink their boat, and they can get this magic item.
Sitting in the water bobbing. How the fuck do they do that?
Where did that sand come from? So yes, I really like this magic item. I think that I will find a way to fix it into my game. I mean, to me, it's really no different than Water Walk, other than you can beat shit. Also, if a shark is attacking, they ain't even gonna get close to you. They'll have to get stuck on water, or stuck on your beach.
Yep.
That's right, Shaq. I am on top of the blanket.
Oh my gosh, it flies.
Joan brings out an interesting point. He feels it's balanced because it only lasts an hour and it's centered on a player. I would even say that if a bird was to come and swoop down and grab that like a griffin swoop down and grab that person that's got this, and everyone's standing on it, they're all gonna plummet into the water.
That's funny.
So that is our magic item of the podcast: boots of dry land.
That could
That's
work on lava.
It says water, so
It's
no,
just water.
it's water, lava. It just
So salt water, actually.
technically it says salt water. I really wouldn't make a big difference of it. That is our magic item of the podcast: boots of dry land. Thank you, Flamebrand02.
Water dry land.
Excuse me.
Down to the dungeon master.
A dungeon master tip of the podcast.
Just the tip.
Our dungeon master. Our dungeon master tip of the podcast. Quest cards. I cannot. Oh, what is it? He says. Yeah. Didn't drop them right into said sharks. So our dungeon master tip of the podcast is quest cards. You can give the players index cards to help them track their quests. I cannot. How often do people forget what the hell it is they're doing?
All the frickin' time.
All the time, and it's terrible. One of the best things about like Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds is that this shit is copied and stored because they can always reference it. That's a little more difficult if somebody's not note taking at the game. So,
Hey guys, our mission was just to find out what hole in the ground these messages are coming from. You know what? Let's explore it, even though we know it expands for hundreds of miles. and there's a sign that says, "Do not come in here, cause you will die." Oh my gosh, it's dangerous down here. What the crap?
So basically what you do is you can give your players index cards to really help them track their quest. Each card should include some pretty basic information like quest level, the start of the quest, who the NPC is, or if it's an item, or something along those lines, what the goal of the quest is, and maybe one or two possible outcomes. The king has hired you to get his daughter back. If you get his daughter back, he rewards you. If you don't, he probably has you killed.
Try to save the car.
Gods, its body functions.
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Somebody should make a... Did you read that? Joe says somebody should make a music mix with all the farting and belching. Here, let me help you. Yeah, that's nasty. Sorry for all you people that get disgusted by that. I lost where I was at. These are really important because it helps remind them of what their goals are and what their options are and what's important to focus on and what's not between all the different game sessions. It really helps them keep them at the objectives at the forefront of their mind, and when they've reached an important decision point in the decision branch in the adventure. Always make sure to leave rooms for the players themselves to make notes, including changes in quest goals or possible outcomes as well. So, personally, this is super useful because then you gotta say, "What were we doing again? Hey B, why are we out here fighting all these red guys?" Because as far as I can see it, the only reason we're over here is because they have a fort over there, and the only reason they have a fort over there is because we have a fort over here. Nobody got the reference.
That's from Red vs. Blue.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if anybody got it. It's best movie, one of the best shows ever.
Good time.
Anyway, so that is our Dungeon Master tip of the podcast, quest cards.
Why are we here? You know what, Caboose, at one point, I didn't give a shit about that question.
Jome, plus 10 cool points, bro. He got the reference.
So,
No,
Caboose, what do you see? I see a
Some
floor,
walls.
some walls, some ceilings. Wait! Just one ceiling.
Our player tip of the podcast is
Don't be a dick.
And Brandon,
Oh,
why don't you tell me? And you can avoid dickitude by
no. Fucking your friends.
better stay away from my wife.
It's a joke.
It's not a funny joke.
It really isn't.
You can avoid
My wife's too good
by-
for him.
She's too good for anybody.
It's true.
Feign death. Feigning death. I never actually did this. I didn't think it'd ever work. Sometimes trying to slay monsters until you're able to. What?
You always just read it. You notice how even though it's the same stuff, I don't actually read it? Because nobody wants to hear us read, right? We want to... Like this. Don't be a dick. How? Feign death. Sometimes, trying to slay a monster, and you can't get out of the keep, and you're running out of time, it's important. See? Like that. Try it. Go ahead.
Or there's a vampire named Strahd next to you.
Or the vampire in the Strahd next to you. Try again. It's not that I'm getting on you about the reading. It's read it in your head and then regurgitate it in a less ready format. Because you sound like a robot when you read, which is really obvious that you're reading. And since it's structured to not be read, it's just bullet points, it doesn't all fit together
I
very well.
am reading text here, human.
That's how you sounded. So instead, read it and then regurgitate it. Can you do that?
Feign death.
Feign death. If you're in trouble and you can't get away from an enemy or get out of a salty place,
Salty.
Play
Get
dead.
your boots of land walking.
do the do the possum and play dead.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one. Have you guys seen Taken?
Yep.
Have you
No.
seen Taken?
Yep.
You've never seen Taken?
No.
Oh my god, dude.
Give me back my family. That's all I know.
Before you leave, I'm showing you a clip. So in Taken, Liam Neeson just destroyed a room of bad guys. And he knows he can't get out because there's a bunch of fucking gunfire. So what does he do? He just lays underneath one and waits for the guy to come, and then when the guy shows up, he shoots him. From prone. Now, that can lead to a way out. If the enemies all come in and they see a bunch of dead people, they're going to continue looking for people. They're probably not going to think nothing of it. Now, I would probably require like a performance check or something, right?
For deception.
Joe says, lol, Brandon wants to feign death right now.
He's
Yeah.
not kidding. I wish I was dead.
Why?
Right
Don't wish you're dead. I miss you. Well, because I gave you a stern talking to about robotic reading.
With all the sass.
I am a robot.
So anyways, so he's laying there, and then the bad guys show up, and he's basically pretending to be dead, and then when the guy's looking around, just as he kind of turns around, he effing shoots him in the chest. So this is like a hidden, unseen attacker type stuff, right? And it happens again in another really popular movie.
Yeah, and the Count of Monte Cristo. Yeah, well, now I want a sandwich.
Some deep fried ham and cheese.
Yep, and the guy named Christo, the main character, escapes prison by, he kind of plays dead, so they kind of throw him out of the prison into the ocean.
Yeah, and so sometimes it happens where your players get surrounded, and yeah, they can fight their way out, but sometimes that's not the most. Sometimes that's not a feasible option, right?
It's
and
a
sometimes
fun way out.
and sometimes it's not the best solution, especially if you want to actually survive. So you can play dead and get the ambush on somebody. Now, I know technically if you're playing dead and you're prone, the rules say you would have disadvantage on your attack. The difference is I would almost call you an unseen attacker, or I would offset the disadvantage with the cleverness, awarding the person inspiration for thinking about it maybe, and say, I'm going to give you inspiration to spend to make it a normal. Or just give it to them because, honestly, if you got a crossbow in your hand and you're laying there dead and the goblin comes in and starts looking around, he's not going to expect your hand to pop up and loose a bolt, you know?
Surprise, motherfucker!
Welcome to the team. It's official.
Thanks, Joe.
So I think...
I said cracker.
Oh, it didn't sound like it. I'm going to play that back. I was going to say he finally joined the team. Because he says dick all an asshole, but he doesn't say fuck. Fuck. I think you said asshole once. You say dick all the time, by the way.
What did you say? Facker?
Fracker.
It's not what it sounded like.
Now, if you're in what terminology? As in Stargate? Or
Battlestar
Battlestar Galactica, you're still
yeah.
saying fuck.
It's their TV version of
That's
fuck.
their version of fuck. So
Anyway,
you're still saying
so...
we're fracked. Either way I look at it, we're fracked from both
Whoa,
sides.
whoa. What? Hang on, Joan.
It's like Smurf.
What is this about loving him as much as me? No. God King, God peasants. Okay?
Who the frack jerked off my fracking coffee?
No. Thank you, Joan, for your support. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add to this? Other ways you could see using this?
I can see the God King being a bitch.
I'm gonna fuck you up later. And not in a way you're gonna enjoy.
Are you sure?
No. At least you'll be in bed. I get kind of lonely.
Yeah, go ahead, do that. Next
Do you have
time-
any other ideas?
Next time you're having a great time with your wife, say my name. Watch what happens.
I'll never get sex again. Ever. At all. Well, we love you too, Joan. Thank you so much for being so awesome.
You think something like this like work in a labyrinth being followed around by a minotaur? Type of thing?
A minotaur is gonna know there's nothing alive in that in that labyrinth. I would, you know what? Actually, I think you're right. If something's mauling you and attacking you, and you just feign death, they would have no reason to continue.
Unless they eat flesh.
Because if you think about it, because if you think about it, in any combat scenario, once you go unconscious, most of the time they turn their attention to somebody else. I could see a rogue doing this shit. He's in the middle of combat and he just drops dead, or a bard and just drops dead, and the guy goes and turns around, haha, surprise, and stabs him. So, all right, that is our player tip of the podcast. Don't be a dick. That is our player tip of a podcast.
Don't be a dick.
And you can avoid dickitude by
Playing dead.
feigning death.
Which I should also reiterate that, because we have listeners all around the world. I saw a post about this on Facebook. Something about possums.
Okay.
A possum in Australia looks way different than a possum here in America. Every other species of possum looks cute. Like a little cute little rodent. While ours looks like a terrifying devil from hell.
Just like Americans.
Yeah.
It fits. The shoe fits. All right.
I'm not gonna lie, when you mentioned Australia, I thought you were gonna mention about how murderous that thing was.
Sure, we can ask Lee. Lee, I bet he's seen one before.
Yeah. All right. So that is our show. But before we close out here, we'd like to give away one more awesome prize.
It's been a long few days of travel, and the adventurers are tired of eating rations and sleeping on the ground. The road opens to a small town with an inviting tavern. The smells of grilling meat and ale fill their nostrils, and the sound of laughter and music float out the tavern's door. Unlucky for the adventurers, they've stumbled upon Dragon's Breath Tavern. What starts out as a pleasant evening of food, drink, and entertainment soon evolves into an adventure that takes the party into and under Dragon's Breath Tavern. The adventure includes roleplay, exploration, combat, and a dice game called Demon Dice.
So before we actually announce the winner, Jome here had a really good idea. He says I like the idea to get access to a castle by carrying in a dead body.
Dead.
Because the guards ain't gonna want to carry that shit.
Health inspector.
And there's a wizard spell that makes someone look dead too. I forgot what it was though.
Necromancy spell, probably.
It's a necromancy spell.
Yeah. Very cool. Love it.
Also
Today.
mentioned like hiding stuff in a dead body.
Oh yeah, hiding shit in somebody's dead body. It's a good way to get it out of somewhere if you're trying to sneak it out.
Great. Now I'm thinking about like Shadowrun, where I don't think our group ever done this, but I can picture one guy in our group maybe luring some guys into a trap of by stuffing a C4 suppository to a corpse.
You know,
Suppository.
you have a real love for suppositories. The more I listen back to our episodes, I'm like, man, he likes to shove shit up people's ass. Makes me wonder what he does in his off time.
That's funny.
It is. Oh, the spell is feign death. Well, there you go. Use it, whether in practice or in spell. Who is our winner today?
Our winner is Ulda's Most Wanted.
Ulda. If you don't know,
those most wanted.
Ulda is one of the major grand companies in Final Fantasy XIV. I don't know if that's what he's referencing, but
Probably.
it's pretty awesome.
It comes crashing down and it hurts inside. You gotta take a stand and don't have to hide.
I was trying to tell you, pause, not saying it.
My bad. Wow, I look fucking ridiculous.
What the fuck did I get myself into?
You're funny. Congratulations to Ulda's Most Wanted. Send us an email to collect your prize.
Somebody has to be the straight guy.
Okay, so we need a topic for our next episode, people. So we have to decide, are we going to jump right into Xanathar's Guide?
Yes.
Because there's some other topics I kind of wanted to talk to beforehand, but I can put them on the back shelf while I work out the kinks.
Oh, the other topics that you have in mind.
Aquatic combat, flying combat, and there's like one or two others, but they can wait. Jome, do you think we should jump right into Xanathar's Guide to everything? By the way, the little goldfish is the cutest thing.
Mm-hmm.
What?
What? Last minute topic? No, I didn't put nothing there because I wanted to get their opinion. I started writing out like all the notes already. Like I have the on our tips and tricks filled out and stuff. But I decided I'd talk to you guys before I decided to pick up the next couple topics. He likes the flying and aquatic. So maybe we'll move into flying. Oh, there's another thing I gotta talk to you about too. There's a gentleman who has done a solo adventure where you literally can play by yourself like a fantasy create your own adventure book where you just flip through certain pages when you make choices. And he gave us a free copy for us to play with. So he's going to be on the show at some point. So we need to try to play through that either together as a group all at once or individually by ourselves, which...
Oh, it's made
It's a
as,
solo adventure! Because I
This
have
is-
no friends.
I was gonna say if it's made for solo, then we should each just do it.
Yeah, but I don't know that you guys will. But we can go through it together or we can go through... I mean, you can do it either way. But what it is it's a DM-less adventure. You don't have a DM. It's just a player adventure. Which is very interesting. It had a lot of good reviews, so I'm interested in trying that.
I remember a Facebook app attempted to do that once, but it wasn't very good.
There's the name of the adventure. Fuck. Let me check my email real quick, if you don't mind waiting a second.
Yeah,
That's a
send me a
very
copy.
R-rated name for the adventure.
How long would you say the mod is?
Some people say it takes them 2 hours. Other people say it takes them like 3 or 4 hours. It depends on the people, I think.
How fast do you read?
Where is Dungeon Masters Guild? The adventure is called The Death Knight Squire, a 5e solo game book. So Anyways, so he's agreed to be on the show once we've completed it and we can talk to him about it.
Neat.
He might even let us give away one to a listener, which is exciting. So we need to do that at some point too. Also, Chris Loresmith is almost done with his book, which means we're gonna have to do that soon too because he's already agreed to do it. So, anyways, so yeah, so he thinks maybe we should do I haven't mastered the flying though. So, because I was thinking I would do aquatic and flying separately, but they might be able to fit into one episode. So we'll see.
But Jim did say he could go for the guide too.
For the what? Okay. Well, I actually would like to run a couple more flying adventures, especially with you guys. I ran one with them yesterday, with them on Dragonback and shit, which is pretty cool. So I can try out more different rules, so I can understand how they all work together and which ones are better than others.
Flying dragons, huh?
Huh?
Flying dragons.
Oh yeah, it was Dragonback. It was pretty badass. But anyway, so that
you can
means
be my wingman any day.
we can do. Should we do? If we do Xanathars, we have to decide.
We have to break it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But would we do all the barbarian subclasses in one episode?
I would.
I think we can make it through them. What do you think? You haven't looked at it yet, have you? Yeah.
And well, I've read through all the archetypes already, and
God, it's such a big book. It's taking me forever.
it's not all of them are made equal, of course, but there are more than a few that are pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, but like a couple of them only have like 2. Others have 4, and I'm concerned about that too.
And they also may have recycled 4 of them from Skag.
Yeah, we won't cover the ones they've already recycled. So.
Although I noticed the ones I did not bring over from Skag were not the ones that were setting specific. Like the
Okay,
Dragon
so
Knight.
so we're just gonna jump into Skag while it's hot, or not Skag, Xanthars.
Yeah.
Okay, and that way it'll give me time to play with you guys with flying and aquatic rules, and see what we can get more out of it. Because that's my plan for our next couple games.
And it makes us seem current and up to date.
Okay, that's
If we make NPCs for the flying fights and stuff, they have to be named Maverick and Goose.
they were not named Maverick and Goose.
They need to be. You're my eyes, Goose. Don't call me that.
Who wants to be Goose? The guy we know he's gonna die first. Anyway, so
Your opponent's Iceman.
so we're gonna do okay. So we'll do Xanathars and what did I say? Barbarian. We'll start with are we doing the Barbarian? Because there's other stuff in there I want to talk about too, but
And
we can start with the classes.
Those all barbarians are freaking broken.
And we've been doing a lot of the DM stuff, so this will be good for the players that listen. Where is my little spot here?
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so please join. Literally worst possible time ever. Please,
Wait
I thought
for
my
it.
jokes are bad.
Wait for it.
please join us in our next episode where we hear feedback from you, our heroes. We will be discussing Xanathar's Guide to Everything, starting with the Barbarian class options. This is gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
If you have any feedback, other tips and tricks, or topics you'd like us to discuss, please send them to us. Where can they send them to us?
You can email them to us at critacademy@gmail.com or find us on Twitter and Facebook at Crit Academy.
40 episodes. I probably finally put the @ symbol in there instead of the dot. 40 episodes. You want to take the next part?
We hope you've enjoyed your experience here at the Crit Academies. If you did, you can help others find the show by leaving a, hopefully, 5-star review on iTunes or the platform of your choice. Or I suppose you can send us a message. That works too, I suppose.
Also, be sure to give us a like and a share. What?
Nothing.
Oh, I missed one, though. Oh, no, that's right. Go ahead.
Make sure to subscribe to our show at critacademy.com so we can help you on your future adventures as well as a chance to win cool prizes each and every week. You will also find links to our fellowship members there as well.
Yes, check out our fellowship members. We got an awesome group now. We've got D&D Character Labs.
Woo!
We have D&D Character Lab. They duke it out with character concepts that they've created. We give you 1, but they give you 2 every week, and they are so fleshed out. It's amazing. Then you have also make sure to check out Gabe's check out Inner Party Conflict. The guys over there answer your questions each and every week, and they've got some hot voices and lots of knowledge to share. Oricon's Lair does awesome reviews of content, and he's got an awesome one that he just released on using Magic the Gathering cards to build encounters.
I heard about that one.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about that on another episode. And then make sure to check out our sponsorships, Goblin Stone and Loresmith, because they're the reason we give free stuff away.
I'll tell you what, too, is next time I have the ability to do a live stream for the art, which I've been able to do lately, the next monster I have decided on doing is D&D Character Labs Swamp Wolf.
Oh, very cool. No S.
Because they were wanting me to do that, and I was like, no, okay.
Yeah, no S. Character Lab. D&D Character Lab.
Because where was Labs?
It's not. I know because I listened to the edit of my mistake like 5 times.
So
It's plural now!
So it's your fault.
It is my fault. So, I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Ian.
I'm your co-host, Brandon.
Keep your blade sharp and your... What?
Spells prepared.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back through every episode
And
that you're
kill
on the
us.
show, and I'm going to send you a link for each and every one spot where you forget that it says, thanks for listening. Every time. You know how I know? Because I just finished editing the other episode yesterday. And
Well,
you know what you did?
should
You
do?
literally sat there for 10 seconds.
You know what you should do?
And there's blank. There's
You know
nothing.
what you should do is you make this in a word, right? Highlight it. Make it bold.
It's italicized.
Make it huge. This font is like 14. Make it 48. That way we will see.
Wear thicker glasses. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Ian.
I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Ian.
I'm your co-host, Brandon. Thanks for listening.
Keep your blade sharp and
Bitch.
spells prepared, heroes.
And keep those potions brewed and ready to toss.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for joining us today, Joan.
Oh, that swamp ass like a motherfucker.
Sweaty ballsack, too.
Ah.
Hello, Kermit the Frog here. That's a horrible Kermit.
You're saying
That was better. Hey, Bert. Hey, Bert. Bert, 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 Bert. Bert's the word.
Hey, Bert.
Hey, Bert. Hey, Bert. Thanks for joining us today. As always, I suppose. It's always you. You're one dedicated fan. Oh, so we have some discussions to make, and actually, I'll leave the stream running in case he wants to hang out while we make them. But what is this, episode 43?
You mean 50?
53? Yeah, whatever. I want to sign us up to do a physical panel at Shudokan, an anime convention.
I want to sign us up for a physical.
No. It's like, I already had one of those.
I want to sign us
on
up
doing?
for a panel at a big anime convention to try to extend our reach to the stars above.
Jesse.
James. Meow. Team Rocket, blast off the speed of light.
Surrender now. Prepare to fight.
Meow.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys would be interested in?
When
Yeah,
Wait,
I thought we were going to do that.
wait, Shudokan still exists?
Yeah, it's almost
Yeah,
as
why
big
wouldn't
as Youmacon now.
I thought Crash and Burned.
It did not crash
No,
and burn.
it started at like 500 people, and now they have like 6,000.
No, the problem is some a-hole is throwing out emails to people posing as Stephanie,
Well, that's unfortunate.
saying horrible things. Give us your money, or donate to us so we can buy crack cocaine for our kids and stuff like that.
That's horrible.
Wow.
And a lot of people think, oh, Shudokan's about to burn. It's going to fall. It's going to drag.
No.
It's like, it can't. It's like the second biggest convention
In Michigan, yeah. But I'm really excited for it, and I'd like to sign us up for panels, but wanted to know if you guys were interested.
Yeah.
When Shudokan?
It's in there in the March usually.
March usually.
It is
Or
also like,
mid-March.
So
yeah, I can go behind that.
you can do that, and obviously I always buy a room anyway for the entire weekend, so you bunk with me probably. Though Brandon will probably go and get his own stuff. Hey, we're recording, dude. He's still watching. I stopped our audio
I will
clipping.
not be getting my own stuff.
What did you do?
because I turned my mic off.
Oh,
All the rooms have been taken already, and Jesse does not want to get a secondary hotel where we have to drive to Shudo every day.
so you may not go. Is that what you just said?
Oh, I'm going.
You gonna sleep in your car?
I don't care if I sleep in my car.
You'll come all the way up just to see us, Joan? I bet he would. But yeah, so that's one thing I want to do. The other thing is well, that's the big one for right now. I think we can probably end it for there. But
23rd to 25th.
23rd, it'll just be one day for a few hours. So I'm there all weekend. So, but I would like not to be there doing the show by myself. The other thing is would we want to stream it and record it, or stream it, or just record it and air it later, or should it be an actual episode like this, or should we like try to get people engaged and experience the game, or should we already assume they already know about the game and focus on it?
I don't know if we can stream it.
Why wouldn't I?
Do they have access to internet through?
If my phone can stream, we can do it. Not my phone, but a better phone. I don't know. It's something to think about.
Yeah.
I think it would be a lot of fun. I would love to do it dressed up as an anime character. Oh my god, dude. Was that somebody moving or farting? Because that was
something moving.
I was gonna say the whole floor just vibrated. Well, so that's definitely something I want to do, and I want to make sure you guys want to talk to you guys about it. So that's all I got. So thanks for joining us today, Joan. We appreciate it. Thanks for everyone else who's joining us. We look forward to doing the show for you guys, and I'm looking forward to hitting up Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
It's good stuff.
It is good. I started reading it. There's a lot in there. They clarified a lot of good stuff, too. But
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about 10 pages of names, though. I feel like there could have been so much other things they could have put in there. So
10 pages worth of names.
yeah. See you later, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.